Hey friends, my name is Elena. I am 21 years old. And this is not just a story, it is my life, my truth, and my greatest pain. I grew up in a small town where everyone knew each other, where doors were rarely locked, and where I thought the world was safe. But I was wrong, because in that same town, my sister Lily disappeared right in front of our lives and left a hole in me that can never be filled. Lily was 2 years younger than me. She had bright eyes that always looked like they carried hidden dreams, and a laugh that could turn even the darkest day into sunlight. We were not just sisters. We were best friends, confidants, two halves of a single heart. People used to say we looked like mirror images, but I always thought she was the prettier one. She had this innocence that made people trust her instantly. The day it happened was a day that started like every other. Lily tied her hair with 2 red ribbons and told me she was going to the market. She asked me to go with her, but I was tired from studying and told her to go alone. I can still hear her voice in my head, her soft little, "Okay, I'll be back soon." I didn't know those would be the last words I would ever hear from her. She left just before sunset. I thought she'd be back by dinner, but when the food was ready, her chair was empty. My mother's hands trembled as she called her name outside the house. My father rushed to the market, but came back with nothing except fear in his eyes. That night our home was filled with silence, the kind of silence that eats your soul alive. The police came, but they moved slowly, too slowly. They asked questions but treated it like another missing case, as if Lily was just another name on their list. But to me she was not a name, she was my sister. My Lily, my other half. Neighbors whispered about a van, a white van that had been circling the market for weeks. They whispered about strangers, people who didn't belong in our town. And then there were the darker whispers, about other girls who had vanished in nearby places. Each story connected by one thing: a tall man with a scar across his cheek. The moment I heard that, my blood turned cold, because I knew somewhere, somehow, he was the last person who had seen my Lily. Days turned to weeks, weeks into months, and with every passing day, hope seemed to slip away like sand between our fingers. My mother stopped smiling. My father stopped sleeping. And I began to see Lily in my dreams. She would call my name. She would cry out for me. She would reach for me from the darkness. One night in my dream I saw her in a room without windows, her red ribbons torn, her eyes full of fear. She whispered, "Elena, please don't let me go." I woke up gasping for air, shaking, convinced that my dream was more than just imagination, that somehow she was reaching out to me from wherever she was. And so I made myself a promise. If the world wasn't going to look for her, then I would. I started going to the market every single day, asking the shopkeepers, asking the people who were there that night. Some turned their faces away, afraid to speak. But one old man told me he saw Lily talking to someone. A man, tall, with that same scar across his cheek. That scar became my obsession. The scar-faced man was real, and I was going to find him. Because Lily wasn't just gone. She wasn't just missing. She had been stolen. Stolen from me. Stolen from our family. Stolen from life itself. And I swore that no matter what it took, No matter how far I had to go, I would bring her back. Because she wasn't just my sister. She was my stolen sister. Weeks turned into months, and still, there was no sign of Lily. But my determination only grew stronger. I followed every lead, every whisper, every rumor of the scar-faced man. People said he moved from town to town, like a shadow. Wherever he went, children disappeared. And then he would vanish before anyone could stop him. One night, after months of searching, I got my first real clue. A woman in another town told me she saw a girl who looked like Lily being pulled into a warehouse at the edge of the city. My heart raced as she described the ribbons in her hair. Red ribbons. Just like Lily's. I knew it had to be her. I went there alone, trembling but determined. The warehouse was cold and silent, with broken windows and rusted doors. My footsteps echoed as I entered, my breath sharp in the dark. And then, I heard something. A soft voice. A whisper. My name. Elena. My heart nearly stopped. I followed the sound until I reached a locked door. I pressed my ear against it, and I swear I heard her crying. Elena, please. The sound of her voice shattered me. I tried to break the lock. I screamed for her. But then heavy footsteps echoed behind me. I turned, and there he was. The scar-faced man. His eyes were cold, his smile cruel. Looking for your sister, he sneered. My whole body shook with fear, but I didn't move. I couldn't. He was the last wall between me and Lily. He stepped closer, and in that moment, I realized something chilling. This man had taken many girls, and he wasn't planning to stop. I was just another problem to him, another obstacle. But I wasn't going to let him win. Not this time. I grabbed a broken piece of iron from the floor and held it up, my hands shaking. He laughed, a deep and terrifying laugh. But I didn't care. Because behind that door, Lily was waiting for me, and then chaos. He lunged at me, I swung the iron, there was shouting, crashing, screaming. And in the middle of it all, I heard the door slam open. A girl's voice crying out. Elena. Lily. My Lily. She was there, pale and weak, but alive. Alive. We ran to each other, holding on as if the world itself was collapsing. And in that moment, I knew nothing could break us apart again. The scar-faced man tried to escape, but this time the police came. This time, there was no running for him. He was caught. His reign of fear was over. Lily was taken to the hospital, her body fragile but her spirit unbroken. She looked at me with tears in her eyes and whispered, I knew you'd come for me. And I held her hand, sobbing, whispering back, always. Because you're my sister. My stolen sister who I finally brought back. And those scars remain in our hearts. And nightmares still haunt my sleep. One thing is certain. Love is stronger than fear. Stronger than darkness. Stronger than anyone who tries to break the bond between two sisters. Because I am Elena. And this is the story of Lily. The sister who was stolen from me. But also the sister I fought for. The sister I found. And the sister I will never let go of again.